there we go. So let me explain real quick, right? So for a while now, we had kind of, you have your equipment, right? Like, like the little UI in your inventory that's like this, and has like this, and you have like the little rings and shit, right? And then I think there's like one here or whatever. Y'all get what I'm saying, right? So this is like equipment. And for a while, Deepwoken equipment since the start of its game has been pretty much the exact same way. We all know this. Very focused on stats, and honestly, the most important stats has been the same for about 3 years. I think it's finally time we get some options, and that's kind of the purpose of this equipment update. And so right now, a lot of people were like questioning why did the Parasol Planner get nerfed, for example, right? This is actually part of, I mentioned it before, but that was because I wanted to do an equipment update. So the idea here is that instead of, like, let's just say you look at the kind of arms equipment, right? And instead of seeing everything just based on like this, right? Instead of it being this, you're now looking at this, and this is probably the more important part depending on the build, right? And this also kind of explains why I did the poll. There's actually a reason for it. So a lot of people are like assuming that like off rip, I'm just trying to like remove armor enchants from the game entirely because I want people to be able to like, I want ganking to increase tenfold. And actually, that's not entirely the main thing. The problem I had, right, is I'm making some of these equipment talents, and some of them are really fucking strong, right? Some of them are very powerful. The issue comes in is like, if I'm fighting against, like, this is for not only future PvP, but also future PvE, right? The idea I wanted to have was like, you can go in and bring as much equipment as you want, but the more equipment you bring, inherently you're going to add more risk because the stuff you don't have equipped is going to be dropped, right? And this is even true for like a PvE dungeon, a Void Tower sort of thing, Void the Expedition, right? That is that, oh yeah, you can be prepped, right? You can have like 5 different sets. Oh, this is better for my heavy build. This is better suited for monsters. That's fine, right? You have something that's better suited for like using cannons or some shit like that, right? But keep in mind, like the idea I wanted was like, you can bring all that stuff, but there's going to be risk. So you can be like prepped for everything and be at risk, or you can be very safe, right? You have the safe options, but you lose kind of the variety and like the flexibility you have in certain scenarios. Obviously, a lot of people don't want armor enchants to be dropped, so they're not going to be dropped. But the way that the equipment stuff is probably going to go, right, is, for example, right, I had an example of an equipment talent, right, where basically, so this is what I have right now. Currently, it's not coming this week. Let me clarify, this is not this week. The DVM and Monster Armor stuff, that will probably be this week, but the equipment update stuff is not going to be for a bit. I want like at least like 30 to 50 of them, right? And so I've only really gone through maybe like 10, 15 so far, just grinding out equipment talents. And I'll give 2 examples because I really like these 2 examples, right? And hopefully everything I do will follow similar or just have like an extended bonus. So let me first, this is going to be the example I bring up of what to kind of almost kind of expect. Not entirely, but for the most part, this is what I'm looking for. So let me get like a picture of these. So let's just say, right, this is we're going to have you have your plate here and you have your boots, right? You like your chest plate. So let's just say you have Enforcer boots. Nobody wears these. The stats on these are terrible, right? And it's understandable why, right? But the stats are awful. But I'll get into why it's actually not that bad in a second, right? And then we have Enforcer plate. The idea right now I have it is that for starters, right? For starters, these individually have 2 unique talents, right? So right now, I'll give you guys a leak on this. So this one has something called Enforcer's Technique, right? And this one has something called Enforcer's Strength, right? Unique talents. And then the idea is that if you wear both of them, you get Enforcer's Pull, right? And I'm not going to reveal like what exactly it does. It's pretty simplistic. Nothing too complex because it's just Enforcer boots. But the idea is that you're getting unique bonuses from running the set, and it could be better for your build instead of just running Bastions of Enmity, right? Which sounds crazy because like, these are such shit, these have such bad pips, right? People are like, these are so bad. But the idea is that, you can probably have like a set bonus for running these, and hopefully it's at least good enough for people. The idea is that you want people to like kind of like be like, oh, okay, wait, that's not too bad, right? So that's kind of the hope there, that it introduces more options. Not only that, what I got the thumbs up from Art to say that this is good to go. All the upgrades will have unique crafting recipes, right? And so like the idea would be like, okay, to get like the upgraded Enforcer boots, which could have better pips too. I'm not saying it can't have better stats, it can, right? But to get like the alloyed Enforcer boots, or like the ascended or celestial, whatever you want to call it, augmented Enforcer boots, right? You will need fucking 12 Smith alloys, right? 2 Enforcer's Eye, and then the Enforcer boots. You can upgrade and get like a much better version of Enforcer boots with a unique talent, right? And then on top of that, you know, you find the crafting recipe for this. You go and get the ingredients. You craft the alloyed fucking Enforcer plate, right? You put the alloyed Enforcer plate and the celestial Enforcer boots on. You get the like unique talent. And so the idea here is to hope that what's it called? There's a little bit more like I think a lot of people get tired of like the same grind over and over again. And I think what's going to happen with this DVM and Monster Armor update is that there's going to be a lot of armor equipment related grind taken away. Not only that, but it's going to be very easy to get god rolls because, for example, on your chest plate and on your helmet, right? There's DVM and Monster Armor you can roll for. So that's like what? Yeah, 1 out of 6 pips you can roll for. Now it's going to go down to 1 out of 4, right? It's basically going to be like star boots with like 1 extra or 2 extra added things. Making it very easy to basically get what you want. And so the idea here is that we're going to try and make, or at least I'm going to try, because I'm doing a lot of these stuff. Some of these are pretty crazy talents. Another example I'll have, these are going to be the only like 2 leak examples just because these are probably my favorite. And I think these are also just like people generally look at it as like shit equipment. Another example of what will be done is equipment tool talents. So for example, right, do you know like, okay, a good example of like what this will be like is, here it is. There's no picture of the tooltip. Yeah, I don't know if there was. Oh well. Right, so a good example of like what I'm doing for this one is like the Lightkeeper medallion, right? So the idea is that there's going to be like a tool that you can use to activate an ability, right? And so this one, I called this one, basically it's a dagger. It's a dagger exclusive talent, right? Where you activate it and it's called Tempo Sap, right? And I'm not going to explain what it does. It has like a 3-minute cooldown. It's pretty powerful, but yeah, that's just an example, right? Wait, what? Ministry Operative Cloak is meta? Well, maybe. We don't know. It could be Bastions of Enmity. It could be the Legion Phalanx plate. It could be the fucking regular Ministry fucking cloak. Or it could be the Ministry. The idea is that when the update comes, there's going to be a lot of stuff to like kind of figure out. And so that general idea is that I think a lot of people can agree that equipment is very stat focused and there's a lot of damage in the game. Hopefully we can bring like the top tiers down and then encourage more unique specific builds that can become more powerful through this update. But like in my opinion, like a min-max like 550 HP, like 60 fizz build if possible, right? Like that's always going to just be powerful no matter what, and it's going to be powerful in a lot of situations. And I think like it's too powerful in all situations, damn near, right? And especially with this DVM update, now everybody's going to be like 550 HP, 660 or 50% fizz. Do you understand what I'm saying, chat? And so I'm kind of worried that like it's gonna get very boring very quick. Like, oh, do you have your armor kit? I have my max health with fizz, and it's like I feel like that's super boring. I really don't want that to happen. And so, yeah, the idea here. There's also gonna be like obviously PVE talents as well. But my hope is that the PVE talents will also be good for PvP. So we'll see. We'll see what I can do. But yeah, like I said, right now there's like 16 or 17 of these already in that I did in like the past like few days. And so I'm grabbing grind out shit. And so yeah, don't also one more thing I'll probably mention real quick is what's probably going to happen in terms of how they work. So final ideas is that with equipment like this, right? Actually, let me make this bigger. Is that the final thing as well that can make it hopefully even more interesting is that at the moment, well, like this won't really matter as much for this, right? But the idea is that hopefully one day every equipment, every equipment will be kind of viable. And the idea is that you have 2 routes you can kind of go down, right? And the 2 routes are enchanted and then augmented, right? So augmentation or whatever we call it, celestial, like I said, the name's work in progress, right? But the idea is that you can go augmented, right? And then get the stronger equipment, right? So like maybe the stats buffed a little bit and there's a talent on it. But this is not soul bounded. It's going to be like Tyrann Pendant. Or you can go enchanted for like a general buff, right? You get something enchanted, it's soul bounded, it's safe, right? And it's generally like all the buffs on enchants are very broad and easy. Like, okay, ferocity, less damage, more speed. Viscosity is good in PvP and PvE. You get what I'm saying, right? And so, yeah, that's the idea. The idea was initially that like you just couldn't enchant it, but according to the polls, people say that they want armor enchants to stay the same way they are. I'm going off the polls. Archmage is following the polls. He told me that's what we're going to do, so that's what we're going to do. Armor enchants are going to stay undroppable, but the new equipment will not be soul boundable, right? So if you want the new equipment, there will always be that inherent risk. The only reason why this exists is just because some of the equipment talent, like I said earlier, pretty powerful. I'm a little bit worried about it, but some of them are pretty powerful, and so I didn't want people to have like 2 or 3 augmented gear on them and never have to worry about it. You know, like, it's like when you have that, like, hey, put the other shits in your bank, bro. You have to choose what kit you decide to run, right? And so we'll see what happens with gear as well. It might also just be a thing where like we eventually see a soft cap where people can't go 550 HP and like super high physical. No, you cannot enchant these, so you have to pick a path basically, right? Can you share one of the gear effects? I kind of did with this one, but I'm not going to give too much leaks. I'm not going to give too many leaks because I want people to figure it out. All right, let's look at the what's it called? Donos. Thank you for 11 euro. Hey, determined get to Arc to delay the bat race by 6 months. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for 11. What do you think about Revogan Band? No comment really. Thanks for 2 Australian. Thanks for 7 Canadian. You're telling me I wasted my needles on my PV build gear for nothing? I asked Arc about the DVM translating over to like, I think that it should be like DVM is health, Monster Armor is physical. I think that's just like the easiest solution to make everybody not upset. He said maybe. I'll ask again. I really think it should translate over because, like, if it's randomized, bro, you can understand people getting pissed. Bro, what? Like, I grinded so much for it, and it's like it's going to shit. And that's everybody's kit, by the way. People have multiple of these kits. So it's very understandable why people want that translate over, and I can't blame them. But I don't think I don't know how much I'm allowed to speak on DVM and Monster Armor.
Do you think we could ever see set bonuses for armor in Deep? I think it could be a really cool way to expand the currently really dull armor system.
But yeah, like, so yeah, this is something that was wanted for a while, but yeah, we'll see what happens with this stuff. In my opinion, like, there's a lot of people who have like, I feel like grinding for equipment sense, I think it should be translated over, but even if like it was re-rolled, right? Getting min-max gear is going to be super easy now because Armor's Needle will almost give you, there's a 50-50 chance you basically get what you want. Most people, health, physical, they're good to go, you know what I mean, right? It's a 50-50 chance, so I feel like why wouldn't you use really Gilded? Is augmented talents or extra stats? We'll see which ones. Maybe some will be extra, like maybe like the Enforcer boots will get like a slight buff, right? But most of these are just going to be talents. We'll see. I don't know if I want to put extra stats on it because, like I said, there might eventually be a soft cap where like people can't get that high HP and Fizz. A lot of people are telling me that they think there should be a soft cap anyway. Even comp players are telling me like it's a bit ridiculous, and I understand that. So we'll see. Like there might not even need to be extra stats and stuff. It could just be talents, and I think it's good to go. Like I said though, we'll see about what happens with it. But for now, it's just talents, and that's what I want it to be for the most part. If y'all enjoyed the video, make sure to go click on these other videos, man, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.